Hey everyone, this is my collection of 1- and 2-sided sliding and rotating puzzles. I generally put puzzles in here if it looked like you could think about them in 1 or 2 dimensions. You didn't really need a 3rd dimension. That's the reason I put these puzzle mugs in there. These pieces can slide around, but really if you just ripped apart the puzzle where this handle is and spread it out on a piece of paper, spread it out like a piece of paper, it would still operate the same way. So that's why I put that one in here. This one, there's a fair amount of variety in here. Here's a trillion puzzle. And this is a circus puzzler where you're just supposed to match all the different colors on each side. A lot of different varieties. Let's spread them all out and see what's inside. Here's everything spread out on the table. There's a ton of interesting variations on this puzzle, so I'm going to remount the camera and get right into it. Here's a closer view of the items. I've rearranged the table, by the way. Let's start at the bottom with this puzzle over here, a spin out. All you're trying to do is get the black piece with the blue item, I guess, I don't know what to call these, switches, I guess? These blue switches out of the puzzle. And this is an elephant version of it, I guess, for kids. Over here I have one of the Battle Gears puzzles. This one's called Spy. And the way you move this one is by rotating these 2 gears on the side. This is it in its solved state. This is a mystery puzzle called Hermit's Dominoes. I have a video of this as well. If anyone knows any information about this puzzle, let me know. And a Magic 8 puzzle over here. I have a number of variations on the Hungarian rings. Magic 8 is one of them. This is just set in a table, and it has 3 different colors of 3 colors of balls on here. You just try and rotate them so that they match up. They're all together. Here's the regular Hungarian rings puzzle. This one has 4 colors in it, not 3. Excuse me. And then this one's another 3 version, the Rubik's Rings. This used to be popular. I picked this up in 2003 and I thought it was still readily available, but I found out much later that they stopped making these, and so now these are kind of rare. I had 2 of them. Another version of that is the Rotos puzzle, where these dots are one color on this side and multicolored on the other side, and you're supposed to rotate these different sides around so the colors touch each other. This is a Gerdig UFO, where you have this centerpiece and you move around all these dots along the side. There's another one over here, multicolored, where there's 2 sides to it, and when the sides are lined up, you can rotate these pieces. I have one in the package, and then this one as well. Another puzzle like that is the Octo puzzle I have here. It's almost like a bracelet that you would put on your wrist, but it's really a 2-sided puzzle. If you can see those 2 different sides, if you bring them together, then the only problem with this puzzle is it's a little bit difficult to grab the sides, but once you do that, then you can start rotating these sides the way my hand is moving. Let's see. This flip side, where you're supposed to organize the numbers 0 through 9. You can move them through here, and you can flip them to the other side. There's numbers on both sides of the puzzle. Over here I have a Hungarian UFO. Again, you can split the sides and rotate A lot of these puzzles are just variations on that idea. Like this one, the UFO. This is a Rubik's UFO. This is the original version, where you can have the two sides separated. When you bring them together, you can flip them kind of like a Rubik's cheese. Like I said, this is the old version, and this is the new version with a really nice looking stand. But really the action is identical to this one. This is a... Yes, this is a Swiss Mad puzzle, where you're just supposed to move these center pieces around until they look the way they look now. This is in the solved state. Here's a 31 puzzle. This is just a 15 puzzle, which is twice as big as normal, along with the regular 15 puzzle over here. This version looks really great, by the way. It has its own case and everything. Excuse me. Over here I have a Saturn puzzle. This one's the white one, and this one's the black version. To move pieces around, you have these little pucks around the side. You move the pucks into here, and you saw how it disappeared. It went to the other side, so you can move pieces around from side to side. And the idea is to get all these colors matched up. This one is in a solved state, and this one's mixed up. Tricky Disky, the same thing as before, two sides, and you can rotate these tips. Here's a backspin, where you can rotate and then mix pieces from side to side. The idea is to get all the colors to match up. I think I allowed a pink one to get through, and now they're matched up. Now the sides are solved. Here's a Sando Rings puzzle. This one is really made for kids. We made the piece a lot bigger, and the rotating's a little bit easier to handle because the puzzle itself is bigger. Here's a symmetric puzzle. The way symmetric works is you can rotate pieces. As you can see, I can rotate this side, or I can rotate across. And this is just a larger version of the same puzzle. Here I have a set of Raschke puzzles, where the idea is you have two sides to it and you just rotate it until you make these patterns. You can rotate these sides, like I said, and they're in a solved state right now. That's why I'm not doing much mixing up. But this is what the solved patterns look like. Over here I have a port-to-port puzzle where you move pieces around either by sliding them back and forth, like this, or sliding up and down. Once you slide one side up, the other side goes down, and vice versa. This is the same type of puzzle. It's also made by Binary Arts. Okay. The Binary Arts again. It's a puzzle where you're supposed to move pieces around that look like pool balls. I have them in a couple different colors. Over here is an enigma puzzle where there's two different ways of moving the pieces. One way is by rotating this top section over here, and the other way is rotating the center. Well, not really the center, but I'm not describing this well. But the back. As you can see, I'm rotating the back, and it's moving a lot of the pieces around. And so the goal is to keep moving it around until you come up with this pattern again. Over here, great gears. You're supposed to keep red dots around here, blue dots around here, green dots around here, and the rest of the dots are the same. Pretty straightforward. You move it by rotating all the gears at once. That's what makes it a little bit difficult. Over here is a Rubik's 15 puzzle where you move pieces around by sliding them around and sliding them up and down. And below it is a circle puzzle, which is really almost trivial type of puzzle and also a little bit hard to move. But this one's pretty straightforward. This is a circus puzzler where the only object is to arrange each of these pieces so that each side touches the same color. So green should be touching green, yellow should be touching yellow, and light blue should be touching light blue, and so on. Here's another sliding puzzle, a Pharaoh puzzle. Pretty straightforward. You're just trying to make this pattern. And also I have a world and moon one. Earth and moon. Over here I have some toys from Tomy. This is called Rack 'em Up, where you're supposed to get the colors to match up. Rack 'em Up is referring to this. This is the moving mechanism. You can move things back and forth based off of how you move that slider on the side. And then row by row, which is a little bit more difficult from Tomy, where you have the same kind of mechanism, but things are a little bit harder to move. There's also a mechanism on this side as well. There's actually a mechanism on both sides of the Rack 'em Up as well. Just to be clear about that one. Over here I have a trillion puzzle. This is an actual Rubik's style trillion puzzle, where you press pieces in like this, and then you can also rotate pieces. So you can push in, rotate, and that's how you mix it up and solve it. This puzzle is a bit difficult to find. More common are these knockoffs over here. Well, anyways, you can see it from the outside. Over here we have the Enigma, Avenger, and Challenger. I think those are the names. But there are really three different versions of the same thing, which is just there are two interlocking circles, and you're supposed to rotate, moving the circles around, and then make the pattern that you can see. By this pattern, you can see how the pattern is supposed to go by the lines on the outside of the puzzle. And here, Avenger, and here, Challenger. Back here I have a puzzle called Gripple, where it's really straightforward. You just move around pieces of 4 at a time. There's 5 different circles, one around each of these, and also a center circle. And the goal is simply to get 4 of each color on each side. In the back, we have this elemental neon, which is almost like a piece of art. Sliding piece puzzle. There's 3 different, 3 different sliders on it. And a turnstile puzzle, which works kind of like the Enigma and other puzzles in the back. This is made by Binary Arts, though. In the back, you have a couple of Star Trek sliding puzzles. The object is to actually solve this, Star Trek: The Next Generation and so on. And you can slide pieces up and down, mix them up, and then get them back together again. There's Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. Here's Captain. Here's a Romulan. Here's an old school Enterprise. And then back here, Klingon. Back here, there's something called Da Vinci Mona Lisa Codebreaker. There's also Twisted Mind Puzzle and Twistomania in the back, but the workings are all the same. There's a knob in the back. You press the knob, 4 of these pieces in the corners move up, and you can rotate those pieces. Excuse me, and then put them back together again. The object is, in this case, to get this Mona Lisa showing up again. Let's see. There's one or two I haven't shown. There's a top side puzzle where you're just supposed to move these numbers around, get them in numerical order, and this is the only way that you can really rotate them. You can move pieces around. Here's another sliding puzzle, kind of like a 15 puzzle, except that it's bandaged. Each of these legs of the spider are locked into place, so you can move pieces around, but you know, you'll get bandaged by how these pieces can move. Over here you have a Rubik's clock, where you move around different times. And depending on which of these four different pieces that you move it, and also these buttons control which clocks move. And remember, it's a 2-sided puzzle. Here's a puzzle over here where it works kind of like a Rubik's rings, where you turn this and also turn this. As you can see, pieces move around. It's a bit stiff to move, though. Let's see. Did I miss anything? There's a three whole version of the Sando Rings puzzle. This one has 4, and then this one has 3. But other than that, it's pretty much the same puzzle. Here's a handy triad and a mad triad, where the object is really to rotate based off of these different patterns. And here, kind of innovative, you can turn the fingers and then turn the sides of the puzzle. Here's a tri-trick puzzle, where you have the numbers 1 through 9, and you either move these pieces up and down, or you move them up like that. I think you can see that, but that's how that puzzle works. Over here's a pure circle, which is kind of like a handmade version of a Towers of Hanoi puzzle. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You just move these pieces around, and in this area, pieces can be moved in and out of the puzzle. For example, if I was to rotate this over to here, I can move this piece into the puzzle. If these are arranged correctly, yeah. And I think you can see that. You can move this piece in and out. I think I've shown everything, and so these are my 1- and 2-sided sliding and rotating puzzles.